Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching the second episode of the final season of Dark. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The first episode reintroduced back into the season, obviously after the chaos of season 2, with Marta being killed, then reappearing as a different version of herself from a different timeline with her own time machine, which obviously converted Jonas back into 2019, as we've seen in the last episode. And then we learned, obviously, that it was a total different parallel universe, and obviously he's not even in existence. You know, his dad, Mikhail, never actually went back in time, which meant obviously he never grew up meeting Hannah, which they never got married, had kids, had Jonas, so he's just a non-existent person. Now everybody's kind of changed appearances. Magnus has got dark hair, even though, let's not forget Magnus as well. I'm sure that he was one of Adam's little boys, mate. You know, I don't mean like little boys, I just mean like little puppets, if that makes sense. With Francesca as well, to be honest, when we seen them in their timeline. And you know, Francesca couldn't speak last episode. She looked like she was deaf and she was sign languaging, and she took the kind of like place of Elizabeth, and Elizabeth has obviously got the voice now, which is interesting. And Charlotte is no longer obviously with her husband, even though she never technically was, but she was the one that was cheating with Ulrich, and he wasn't actually cheating with Hannah on Katerina. You know what I mean? They kind of split up as well. It was acknowledged in this episode. So the kids are obviously living with the mum, and he's obviously living with Hannah, and she's really pregnant as well. And obviously he's cheating on her, so he's consistent in that form, you know what I mean, and cheating on his spouse. And like I said, you know, different characters are in here, but they've all kind of got like different traits, or they look a little bit different, or they're all in different relationships. And you know, it's interesting to see obviously what's going on, because Claudia wasn't mentioned at all, but Regina was dead. She had a, you know, she had a gravestone, and obviously Jonas was there. He was looking at it before you know, Elizabeth's dad come over and he was speaking to him, and he's a priest in this episode. Well, last episode it wasn't actually no reference to him at all, even though we do know he exists. And obviously if we change different timelines, even though we've seen him get killed last season, do you know what I mean, by Agnes, you know, that was in Jonas's world. Moving over into Marta's world, he can actually be there. Another Noah could be in existence. So it'd be interesting to see obviously if that actually happens. And then obviously we had an explanation to Jonas at the end when he stood outside of his house, when Mikhail was obviously there not killing himself because he was still a young kid and he was asleep in his bedroom, that she appeared and she was saying, look mate, you know, you may have assured that you was never really in existence, and that's all you ever wanted, but not really stop the cycle. It still continues without you. You was just a piece. You took yourself off the board, still moving, still playing, still going, and it's just going to happen again and again and again. And me and you got to work together to get to the bottom of it, and obviously stop it once and for all. So it's interesting. Can't wait to see what we do. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you do enjoy it, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into the second episode of the third season of Dark. Oh, look at that. Bartos is there. Francesca. Magnus. That must be his crew then.
Das ist nicht Martha.
Er hat recht. Nicht Martha. Ich habe versprochen, das alles wieder gut zu machen. Dass ihr nicht sterbt in meiner Welt und ich nicht sterbe in eurer.
The Survivors, it's called. Oh yeah, look. The Survivors. I was going to say, we need to know the time. 22nd of September, 1987. So this is the furthest we've been. Oh, right. We're in her times traveling back now.
Ich versuche sie seit 3 Monaten zu erreichen. Wenn Sie die offenen Rechnungen nicht begleichen, müssen wir den Anschluss zum nächsten Monat kappen. Bitte melden Sie sich umgehend zurück. Wieder.
Wenigstens haben wir uns. Jetzt können wir Hand in Hand vor einem leeren Sarg stehen und endlich abschließen. Und mein Sohn verschwunden ist, hat er Claudia Tiedemann gevögelt. Wenn du nur genauso viel Energie darauf verschwenden würdest, deinen eigenen Sohn wiederzufinden. Keine Ahnung, wovon du redest.
He's gone to the future.
Zurück, bevor die Sonne untergeht.
Oh yeah, they was in the bunker, weren't they? They survived.
In 5 Tagen wird hier alles dicht gemacht. Führen das gesamte Gebiet. Die haben angeordnet, die Sperrzone zu versiegeln.
Who's that watching? Do you know what, right? Mate, we bounce over so many timelines. Like, we started with 2019, 1986, 1953. I'm sure we've gone to 2020. We've gone to 1954, I think. We've gone to 1921. I think we've been into 1954. Today we're in 1987. Last episode's in 1888. Like, mate, we are flying through all the timelines, and you got to actually like sit there and remember as well, like who's in what. Like, when this show finishes, yeah, in the 8th episode, I know that I'm not going to remember everything that was going on, but what I am going to do is, like, obviously after we've finished this, I'll sit down and I'll Google if there's any plots that like have not been answered. Do you know what I mean? Like plot holes, because. Mate, I totally forgot that she was going into the caves, me, Katerina, and she was still looking, trying to find the sun. And, like, obviously, she's gone here, and she's in 1987. She's gone in the past. You know, she's looking. Now, I also forgot that, obviously, the apocalypse kind of happened last season. And, obviously, this is a year after, or 2020, from the disaster. And these guys survived because he was in the bunker, and everybody else has technically died. You know what I mean? But then Regina survived. She did. And, obviously, I forgot as well that obviously Claudia killed her dad, and then she's gone in a time machine. She's moved to the future. She's in 2020 with her daughter now, who's dying obviously on the bed. But then you got to remember that Hannah's alive with a time machine back in 1921, I believe. It could be 22 on that timeline. I'm not too sure which it was, like how long Ulrich was there. He was still in his normal like looking appearance, you know what I mean? He didn't have his long hair or anything like that, and she's speaking to Egon, so mate, we have got people all over in different timelines, and like so much going on. Like, you focus on the Marta and Jonas thing, and I don't know what's going on. You totally forget that Hannah's over there. And what's happening with her? How's she getting back? You know what I mean? Like, how we sinking everybody back into the final thing. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any plot holes or not. But so far, it's good. But like I said, it's also like it takes a lot to remember like who was what and where.
Woher wusstest du, wo wir sind?
That is a good question. Jonas told her.
Ist gereist. Von eurer Welt in meine.
Du lügst. Ich war nie in deiner Welt.
Adam dich geschickt. Womit bist du gereist? Ich will wissen, womit du gereist bist.
Sie sind also der Grund, warum sein Gemüt heute noch schlechter ist als sonst.
Who is that? He didn't even release a name, did he? He didn't say. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he knocked on my house.
Ulrich. Weißt du vielleicht, wo dieser Junge ist?
Vielleicht hat Uri ihn jetzt doch geholt.
Seen herself.
Hey! Welcher Irre! Welcher Irre!
Aus der Klapse ist diesen Sommer einer ausgebrochen. Hat versucht, Michael mit in die Höhle zu schleppen.
Du lässt deine Finger von Mikkel.
Young kind of like, yo, that woman is crazy, mate.
In der Woche vor Claudias Verschwinden ist dir irgendwas aufgefallen.
Sie hat immer so viel Wert darauf gelegt, wie sie aussieht. Sachen zweimal an. Hat Termine vergessen. Ihre Haare. Ich glaube, es hatte alles was mit der alten Frau zu tun und dem Hund.
So she was the star of this board. Look, it's not even like fully established yet. Yeah, look at that now. Oh, this is the dead. All the missing.
Wenn sie nicht an der Wand sind, dann sind sie nicht hier.
I would say it's good. Yeah, of course it is. We're never really seeing Charlotte in the future, I don't think. I remember seeing the others, but not them.
Der Junge ist nicht verschwunden. Das Jugendamt kennt den Aufenthaltsort von Ines und Michael Kahnwald. Nach dem, was im Sommer passiert ist, hielt man es für das Beste, dem Jungen eine Auszeit zu geben. Und die Irre ist zurück in der geschlossenen, genauso wie die letzten 34 Jahre.
Wer ist denn der Mann?
Mate, they don't want to reveal no names today, but I'm assuming that they can't really give... the police can't anyway. Like, Hannah could have. And Ulrich. Always at this bus stop, innit? Always.
Hallo Regina. Ist das dein Hund?
Hat meiner Mutter gehört.
Soll ich dich mitnehmen?
Sieht aus wie Gretchen. In der Woche vor ihrem Verschwinden hat sie dir mal etwas von einer alten Frau erzählt. Hat sie dir etwas über mich erzählt?
Ich,
steigt hier vorne aus.
Mein Name ist Claudia Tiedemann. Ich bin eine der wenigen Überlebenden der Apokalypse vom 27. Juni 2020. Es sind jetzt fast 3 Monate nach der Katastrophe.
Yeah, that must be confusing for people listening to it, that Claudia Tiedemann was a survivor of the 2020 apocalypse. Was she technically not missing at that time? Oh, it's Noah.
Ich suche Nahrung.
Mom and sister.
Was soll das? Ich hab dir gesagt, wir wollen nichts mit dir zu tun haben.
Du willst sie beschützen. Ich weiß. Will ich auch. Und das werde ich. Nachdem du getötet wurdest.
Do you know what I mean? They've come to the what would you say, the acceptance that time travel is an actual thing. So like obviously they know somebody called Noah is a real person, and they know that he looks different to this one. And if he explains to him that I'm Noah, I'm from this timeline, and I've been here and done this, and I was the one that gave her that locket, yeah, or whatever it was, a watch, maybe they kind of understand him a bit more. And when he's saying that, you know, after you die, I take care of her, and technically they get married and have a kid or whatever, you know what I mean? And that ends up being her mum, which it doesn't make sense if I'm being honest, but it's interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would listen to him and maybe what he knows, because it's called The Survivors, isn't it? And obviously they're looking around for it, and it is positive that they can't find them on the boards. It actually is, but you know, it's also negative because you're also thinking, did they survive or are they dead? You're in that question. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you do need closure, but this time, do you know what I mean? I'd rather still be searching than accepting the death of them.
Es tut mir leid, wegen Jonas.
Seid ihr hierher gekommen?
And I was gonna say, what timeline?
Wir sind gereist, genau in dem Moment, als alles hochgegangen ist. Er wollte nicht hierhin. Es ist einfach so passiert.
Linda, weiß er, wer ihr seid? Woher ihr kommt?
Ich muss dir was zeigen.
Sie eine von euch? Eine Reisende? Als ich euch gefunden habe, war das ein Zeichen. Ein Geschenk des Himmels. Jedes Unheil kann umgekehrt werden. Jeder Schmerz vernichtet, bevor er überhaupt entsteht. Eine perfekte Welt. Sigmundus Creatus est.
Yeah, and do you know what? I fucking waited so long for these to reunite. Honestly, I really have. Someone to find him.
Ob ich Ihnen helfen kann?
Albers. Was that not her original name?
Ich möchte jemanden besuchen. Er ist seit 34 Jahren hier. Ich komme mir irgendwie bekannt vor.
Who is it?
Sind Sie mit ihm verwandt? Ist mein Mann. Ich hab Schichtende, kommen Sie morgen wieder. Das ist der heilige Christophorus. Er hat den Teufel abgeschworen, den Schöpfer der Welt getragen. Meine Mutter hatte auch so einen. Bitte. Ulrich. Ich hole dich raus. Versprochen.
Oh, it's unknowns again.
Entschuldigung, was machen Sie hier?
Why though?
Hab Regina gesehen.
Hab mich all die Jahre gefragt, ob sie... Claudia hat nie gesagt, wer der Vater ist.
Du hast recht. Ich muss mich entscheiden.
It's a man now. All right. Maybe he was a dad then, Toronto.
Einziger Weg ist, dich zu retten.
Only way to save you. Who said it? Claudia, future Claudia. They've both been told too then, so he's been told that's the only way to save her, and she's been told that whatever she's doing is the only way to save her. I want to see how he dies, obviously, because Noah said that he's going to look after her after he dies. Oh, they've done well to make her look old. Oh, did she go through the loop last episode? Is that what it is?
Was ist das hier?
Das hier ist eine Art Geheimloge. Der alte Thanos ist der Einzige, der von ihm übrig geblieben ist. Mein Vater war davon überzeugt, die Gesetze von Raum und Zeit außer Kraft setzen zu können. Jonas versucht, die Dinge wieder so zu bauen, wie er sie gesehen hat. Er war schon mal hier. Zukunft.
Future, yeah.
Ist dieser Adam.
Er hat es euch nicht gesagt. Er ist Adam.
That's a family tree.
Treffen sind andere. Laufen sie auf den gleichen Moment zu. Die Dinge passieren vielleicht nicht auf die gleiche Weise, aber sie passieren. Die Apokalypse geschieht in meiner Welt genauso wie in deiner. In meiner allerdings bereits in 3 Tagen.
So in her world, the apocalypse is going to happen in 3 days' time. So maybe she needs him to help prevent it. But like, it looks like they're all going to happen again at the same time. It looks like anyway. Basically, she was saying you got all these different connections and they all dwindle down and they all might take different paths, but they all could join into the same outcome every single time, no matter what. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, we seen last season that the apocalypse in Jonas's timeline occurred, and now we've got to do the apocalypse in their timeline. It's happening in 3 days' time, which could be in 3 episodes' time, or do you know what I mean? We could prolong it. I don't know. We can go back. We can go forward. I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, like if you look at it here, you know, Jonas is basically trying to recreate the time machine from the future because he's been here before, and obviously we had Bartos. It's interesting listening to them all kind of clued up and know what they're talking about now. You know, that they've all experienced the time travel and the locations and everything that's going on, and they all put in faith in Jonas. And, you know, knowing what Jonas knows, knowing that Adam was the one that killed Marta, then I was saying, obviously, at the end of last season, that how could he ever progress forward into the future and become Adam when he knows what Adam's intentions are and he doesn't want them? You know what I mean? Like, if I knew what my future intentions was in 10 years' time and I really disliked them, then I would do everything that I could to get into that position of being that guy. You know what I mean? Now, that's easier said than done. It actually truly really is. But also, listening to, obviously, what Toronto has done here, he's come in, he's killed Regina. He's killed her. Now, we actually learned in today's episode that he's potentially her father. It was never really fully confirmed, but he had to make a choice, didn't he? Was he going to choose his wife, Ulrich's mum? Or was he going to choose her? Do you know what I mean? He chose his wife. Now, she obviously grew up without a father. And obviously, like, we know that it could be him after today's episode. But interestingly, you know, he's come in, he's killed her. He's basically said, I was told that this is what must happen so that you could live. Now, we've seen Claudia, the mum, the one alive in this timeline, the younger one, be also told by her future self that she must do X, Y, and Z to save her. It's the only way to do that as well. So maybe, you know, old Claudia has come and told Tronte he had to do that. And old Claudia as well has told young Claudia that she has to do this to save her. And in reality, what it actually was old Claudia needed young Claudia to take the present into where it currently is so that Tronte they could then do that deed. You know what I mean? When she said that young Claudia had to take the time machine to protect Regina, maybe it was always to take her to that moment so then Tronte to do what he has to do to save her, which is to kill her. So then obviously maybe in a different timeline or whatnot, it helps her out. I don't really know. It's a bit confusing, but it's interesting to see it. And again, you know, our resemblances of references and things of Adam, but we've not really had Adam revealed and everything again in today's episode, or versions of him all seen. So a pretty good one, 2 episodes in, decent, I'm really enjoying it, you know, can't wait to see how we conclude because we have to. Like I said, mate, there's so much going on. I'm interested to see how we go all the way around and get everybody back together. Okay, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So, Ulrich has finally reunited with Katerina. Really interesting. You know, she's come back. She's been searching for Mikhail. She's not found him. She's acquired some key information that actually, you know, he is in witness protection with Ines, you know, like... Basically, he's not disappeared, but because obviously he was taken by Ulrich, that they decided to take them away so nobody can actually find them. Now, it's not really good for her, but it's kind of good that she knows that he's not dead and he's alive. But she's hunted down her husband and she's found him. Now, interestingly, she's found her mum along the way, and she's the one that was working there. That necklace, which is interesting, that looks like the one that Jonas gave to Marta, if I'm being totally honest. But she's seen her. She said that she kind of like, we met before, you look familiar. She never revealed who she actually was. She said she travelled long and far to get here, and obviously talked about her mum and the necklace had something similar. Then we seen her mum go home and obviously go with the younger version of herself. Now, Katerina said that she's going to do everything she can to get Ulrich out of there. Maybe she's forgive him for everything that he's done in the past, obviously, because they've been through so much crazy stuff, haven't they? They actually really have. We didn't really see anything of Magnus and co, you know, in today's episode from the extension of the last one, but we did see again that Marta was kind of having sex dreams with Jonas, and, you know, that's continued on into this season. She was the one that woken up in today's episode, the one panting and breathing heavily. You know, we seem to have that recurring thing of people different waking up. You know, I think last episode it was Katerina, but she didn't have the panting. But today's episode it was obviously Marta. We've obviously seen young Mikhail do it, Jonas do it, older Jonas do it. You know, I think his mum might have done it, Ulrich as well. So we have rotated through quite a lot of those characters waking up and having this panting and obviously these nightmares and stuff. Interesting today as well that these unknowns have come in and they killed a secretary from the power plant. You know, we'd seen last episode that it was a person that kind of like discovered it, owned it, brought it up. Trying to Helga's dad, the guy that was the advocate of putting that in there the first place, and then these guys are unknown. I think that's what it was called on the out shown credit things, and they still unknown now. We don't know who they are, no names are revealed, not one of them, and the second death has occurred. Same method, strangulation, you know, today again this woman, not really too sure why it's her, why she's been targeted, but that is another mystery that needs to be revealed in today's season, to be honest, this season. We do know that obviously looking into the future in 53, I think it was, or no, was it 2020 when what is it now, young Elizabeth and her dad was in there. He was looking at the boards trying to see the dead. He wasn't there, you know, his wife, his kids, they couldn't find him. It's positive, but we also seen young Noah there saying that he's going to protect her once her father dies. Now, how's that happening? I don't know. It's exciting though, isn't it? You know, we've seen Jonas drop around and speak to him in a different timeline, but that was in the alternative one, wasn't it? And he was a priest in that one. And Noah wasn't, so I don't really know. It's exciting stuff, honestly. It's really, really good, but we're on episode 2. There's only 6 more, and that sounds like a lot, but it is not, mate, to conclude all the storylines. It really isn't, so I can't wait to see what we do with it. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.